Yeah, I'm sure I don't understand at this level either. Nobody should feel bad about these people, any of them, and whatever their struggles are. If Hunter got fired tomorrow and let go, probably has, tens of millions of dollars or more in a severance package. He has stock options. Stephanie the same way. Everybody's boo-hooing about her not being CEO anymore, being dipped in and out. These people are mega rich, mega wealthy people. And right now, it really is all about power and not making money. Rock, the same thing. Don't feel bad for Rock because he's juggling 15 different things that are making him millions and millions of dollars. That's his choice. And wrestling is one of those things that he's juggling, but man, it's the easiest one of all. Like I said, this is not hard. And it's not like he's taking like economy class or economy plus on Delta to get to Vegas and back to Hawaii. It's a private plane. He's comfortable. He could have very easily flown into Vegas, did the appearance, and flew right back out without even going to the WrestleMania party. So, I don't know. I mean, it feels like logically for both guys, Triple H and Rock, that they should be on a little bit of a hot seat right now post-WrestleMania. But I feel like everybody's patting each other on the back. And speaking of patting, that dude was walking on eggshells. He at least tried to challenge a little bit here and there as a fan. Like, oh, it would have been great to hear if you smell. But that's the closest he sniffed to saying, dude, like isn't this a little bait and switch? It was obviously I don't know, more of a propaganda type interview to really tout how we did it, pat each other on the back. By the way, it didn't include Pat McAfee, and I believe that he didn't know Rock was there or not. He said he texted him and said, dude, are you here? And he's like, oh, dude, I'm not here. I'm over here. They do not clue the announcers in because they want a natural reaction to the entrance. So don't think Pat was lying about that. I do think he was telling the truth.
The Rock also claimed that he had no idea Travis Scott was going to be at WWE WrestleMania 41. How can you, in one breath, say, we've worked on this for many, many months and months and months, then you can say that we didn't know Travis Scott was going to be there? When he was in, essentially, what The Rock should have been there for.
Well, yeah. I mean, how can you... This is definitely 1984 double speak and double think and all these things of this is true, but then 2 sentences later, this is also true. So, Rock, are you the final boss? Are you the person they call when they need more tickets sold for Elimination Chamber? You just walk out, do something, and then are you the guy that says, I'm going to show up at Bad Blood, I'm going to show up at Elimination Chamber, I'm not going to show up at WrestleMania 41, I'm peeling... He's saying, I'm in control of everything, right? Is he essentially saying that? I can call, I know who's where, I'm the final boss, I'm the director on the board of TKO, but anybody can come out during the WrestleMania main event without checking with me.
It's funny, the way he talks is, it's him, it's Nick Khan, it's Ari Emmanuel, it's Mark Shapiro, and then it's Triple H. It always seems like he's an afterthought in, there's the boys club, Triple H might sometimes get an invite. That's the way he speaks that sort of makes me think that, there's, I'm not saying trouble in paradise, but did they ever get along that well? Who knows?
I don't know. I do know he still has that problem with Shawn more than Hunter. I mean, we talked about it on the WrestleMania special, and I was just trying to speculate with the Bret Hart click versus the actual click with Shawn and Hunter, and you gave me some information that Hunter claimed he was the one that said, screw him, make him do the job, make him drop the title. And Cornette tells the story in jest at the booking table with him, Russo, and Vince at Vince's house. Well, hell, just double cross him. Everybody now seems to be claiming it when Bret's wife went right up to Hunter. And remember, she got in his face in the hallway, and his head was down. He's like, I had no idea about any of this. And like, where were you then, big man?
Hey, Shawn said the same thing.
They both did. They both idea. Or whatever, Bret was the only one, and his wife at the time were the only ones that were straight up like, and people still claim that was all work. I can't think they're hanging on to that.
No
it was like a lie hop. Let it happen on purpose. That they were all going to. The documentary people knew we had something And they went into that with that. Brett is way too still like hurt by that for it to be a work, for him to make pretend all these decades.
So, here's another theory for you. Do you think The Rock harbors any bitterness towards WWE or the fan base? Because essentially, the fan base and WWE together stopped The Rock from what he wanted to do last year, and that was wrestling Roman Reigns for the title.
But did they stop him? Did they stop him?
He could have still done it.
He would have still been sold out in Philly. It was still the Philly fan. Maybe here's another theory. The Philly fans, when it was him and Roman, when he won the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns, the reaction was really, really negative to that. Remember that? They booed him. Do you think Rock didn't forget that? And he understands the Philadelphia fans. They're going to let you know they're going to hijack the show beyond the regular fans that hijacked the show. And you thought they were doing the dual chants during Cody and Cena in Vegas? Oh, my God, that would have been... They would not have shut up at WrestleMania 40 if they were force-fed Rock versus Roman in the main event and the title's not even on the line. Matter of fact, didn't he make up like it's the boss for the tribal chief, it's for the necklace, it's not even for the belt?
I can't remember for the Ilafala, but Roman Reigns was champion.
Yeah, but they said it wouldn't be for the title. I thought there was maybe it's Mandela effect. Either way, even if it was for the title, you're obviously now... here's the nepotism title of WWE at WrestleMania. I don't think the fans would have stopped them. I feel like maybe cooler, more logical heads prevailed that this is a tradition that the Royal Rumble winner goes on to face the champion. And I can't believe, because they had 2 titles then too, correct? Wasn't the World Heavyweight title?
Yeah.
I think I guessed that they were going to give him the Consolation World title shot. And I can't believe they didn't do that because that's their easy way out of booking another title match or somebody they don't think is for the real title. Here's your World Heavyweight title.
Now, Cody. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one more thing. I had a theory that The Rock turned back to WWE because he basically had a string of sort of like commercial or critical failures, like Black Adam, Red Notice, Red One, The Smashing Machine, which is upcoming. He plays Mark Kerr, former MMA fighter. And the reviews for that have been bad so far as well, even though it's not out yet. But I think that he only went back to WWE because he thought it'd be like a slam dunk to rehab his image somewhat. But then there was also, the XFL, which he bought with Danny Garcia and someone else, as well as ex-wife, I should say, and to merge with like their version of the USFL or something like that. I don't know American football, but that's not worked out either. So that's my idea, is that he went to WWE because he needed something to hang his hat on that was a bona fide success.
Yeah, there was a ton of drama around that Black Adam movie that he was trying to do a power grab for that universe, for those movies. He was trying to shoehorn Black Adam versus Superman for Man of Steel 2. And
Wasn't he in a trailer as well, didn't he? Or like at the end of a film or something?
Yeah, Superman came out at the end of Black Adam. They were planning to see it in the post-credit scene for Superman versus Black Adam. And then they just completely changed that. I'm sorry, it was DCEU. He was trying to get into that with Henry Cavill and have Black Adam be right up there battling Superman. And I don't know, there was some political struggle or whatever. And you see that Rock after that was never, ever mentioned as being part of anything with the James Gunn DC universe or any other superhero movies, and there wasn't going to be a Black Adam. So yeah. It seems like wrestling's the fallback, the safety net, where wrestlers don't have the safety net of Hollywood to go back to.
I think with Dwayne, and once again, I mean, I guess I'm more in a position to say this than most people since I've researched him so much for that book, even though it was a few years ago, is that obviously you have to have an ego, you have to have self-belief to get to the position that Dwayne is in. But at some point, I don't know, does it seem like it's working against him now? Where he's so adamant that his vision is the correct vision. And once again, you hinted beforehand, he's becoming like Vince McMahon, surrounding himself by yes men who will agree with whatever he says. But anyone like us who sits back and watches everything unfold in real time, and then with the benefit of hindsight, we didn't need the benefit of hindsight. We could have, if The Rock had said, I don't need to be part of this storyline, anybody who was paying attention could have said that is the absolute death knell for this story, which started out so well. And I don't know. I'm getting the feeling now that The Rock is he's too far gone. He's lost in the source of his own self-belief, of his own opinions, and that they're infallible.
Have you told me you've never seen The Dark Knight? Is that true?
No, I've seen The Dark Knight. I've not seen the other two.
Okay, The Dark Knight then. Harvey Dent sitting at the dinner table with Bruce Wayne, Rachel, and the Russian ballerina, and says, you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. I believe, and when Rock turned heel, obviously they still loved him. But these things, and this, you mentioned a point, Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon would never do towards the end he did more, but he, as the vision or the visionary of WWF and WWE and one man's vision for the direction, he would not go out there on interviews all the time telling people what the vision is for WWF. Because it's like our format, what we do. People can offer suggestions, do whatever, but our vision is what we want, and we're trying to form that vision. If we put it out every day or every week that our vision is this or that, obviously people are going to disagree with it publicly rather than letting it play out. In other words, I feel like Rock should have just not did any interviews and stayed quiet, because doing them is only exposing further that this was a mess going into WrestleMania. There's got to be more to it. Like you said, how do you not show up for WrestleMania and just say you're going to peel back and that's the end of it, and not at least follow through, at least with the climax to WrestleMania 41, give the belt to John or help John win the belt, and then John can start to explain that he's the avatar for the final boss. He holds his soul. John can do all the talking, the showing, the telling, and everything. But this is strictly just gaslighting. We should have known this weeks ago that this was going to be it.
I just can't believe that it would get that far. I cannot believe there would just be so many breaks in people's thought processes, or The Rock's or Dwayne's thought processes, where he thought this was the best course of action. I'm getting to the point where I think he's doing this on purpose to make it as bad as possible, as some sort of pretext for some sort of hostile takeover. I mean, that might be going a bit too far, but at some point there's been a complete logic break, and he doesn't see it. And now, once again, he's trying to portray that he's playing 4D chess and everyone's playing hopscotch. Everyone else is playing, I don't know, something really basic.
Right.
And yeah, he's basically, it sounds like he's now gaslighting himself.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, they might dip some numbers, but right now, ratings are important because it's on Netflix. You can't gauge the ratings. SmackDown's on USA. They're just happy to have WWE Wrestling because USA always had WWE as the flagship show. They don't have any kind of other shows like, what was it, Suits, La Femme Nikita, all things throughout the years that they could rely on to carry the USA Network. So they're stuck now. They got SmackDown. But think about it. The TV licensing deal, especially for live sports, the price is always going up. They have they have Amazon, they can go to ESPN. They have other avenues to continue their grift. It really is that. They promise stuff to the networks. They never deliver. There's never any kind of accountability from the networks. And that goes for AEW too, especially after the Spike bag. There's no consequences to any of the, there's no thing if you dip below a certain number, we're going to renegotiate, or we're going to, you breach the contract, we'll cancel because it's not worth paying you billions of dollars over 4 or 5 years. And think about it. They got multiple billion-dollar deals if you go back to Fox. So right now, USA and Netflix, they're both worth multiple billions of dollars. WrestleMania will always sell, no matter who's on the card. And we thought that they would cannibalize the product going to 2 nights. Guess what they did? Doubled their income. Matter of fact, they probably more than doubled it because the whole WrestleMania week with WWE World, and now I don't know if they continued this trend. I remember WrestleMania, 31 in Levi Stadium, they put out that thing of like a no-compete zone. You can't have independent wrestling or conventions or anything within this mile radius of our. So they've cornered the market. They've pillaged the towns. They've turned the people upside down for their money. And guess what? The very next year, they'll do it all over again, make even more money, have even more advertisements. That's another thing. We might not like it, but everything now is a NASCAR advertisement on WrestleMania. From the opening to the ring aprons to the LED boards to the barriers. I'll tell you what, I missed the Cinnamon Toast Crunch mascot. I was hoping to see him again this year, but there was no. Actually, Jane Gunther, that would have been the blood feud to bring out the Cinnamon Toast Crunch mascot for the Ray and Dom match. But it's a long tangent. But when you say they're going to suffer some consequences, he's making the product so bad that he's going to save it, get rid of Triple H and everybody who is making the product bad. That's let's let it fail and then I'll come in and save the day. I don't believe that. I believe they're just going to make money hand over fist. They're going to print money no matter how bad you and I and anybody else see it to really be, truthfully be. They can do so much better. And once again, we're a talent-friendly show. When they make more money, hopefully the talent makes more money. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but they'll never feel the heat nor the consequences of any of this stuff. It will be forgotten. Rock shows up at SummerSlam. Everybody's happy again.